Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I have an absolute banger for you. It is how to write copywriting emails that actually make bank. This is going to be a pretty long video, so grab your popcorn and your pen and your paper and get ready to make some notes. So yeah, let's just hop straight into it. Just a quick one so you guys can see I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about and not just pulling stuff out of my ass. Here is some of the email results that I've written recently. These are just a few examples. I literally write dozens of emails a week, specifically for ecom brands as a copywriter. But as you can see, here are some results. So this email made 3,000, this one made 4,000, this one made almost 14,000, this one made like 1,700, and here's another one that made a little over 12,000. And as I said, this is just a small example of email results, right? So I'm gonna take you guys through my 4-step process. Plus, I'm gonna show you some email examples, and I'm also gonna show you how to actually get good at writing emails. So just something to keep in mind before I go further. This isn't like a full in-depth walkthrough. There's a lot that goes into writing emails, but here are just like some basics that you guys can follow to actually write. And honestly, I also don't want to give away all my source because I kind of owe it to the guy who taught me for the agency I work with, and I don't want to just give out all his secrets. But I'm going to show you guys a little bit. So let's get into it. The first thing is you have to understand what you're selling, right? So finding the unique selling points of what you're actually selling and how it ties into the desires and pains of the audience. So a USP is a unique selling point. It's basically a marketing strategy that explains how a product or brand is better than its competitors. So most brands you write for will already have this somewhere on their website. You can look at their best sellers, etc., to see what people are buying and why. So you can basically look at their best selling products and just look at how they advertise it. They will most likely hit on the unique selling points, and you can also see how it ties into the desires and pains of the audience. But I'm going to show you a bit more in depth about that in just a second. So yeah, basically look at their marketing messages and see what works. And if you don't have access to this, you can do research via Facebook groups, reviews, Reddit, and YouTube videos, looking for the pains, desires, and problems of the audience that you're writing for. So understand what you're selling and who you're selling it to. For example, I've written for a retailer that helps contractors get supplies they need to do their jobs. So, like electricians, etc. It's a store that stocks a wide variety of brands that they don't own. They just like act as a third party. Now, I don't, in this case of this supplier, I don't actually sell the supplies itself as much, like buy this light, it does XYZ. However, I do sell the trust in the company and the unique selling points that tie back into the desires of the audience, so the contractors. So this retailer, for example, hits a lot on their fast shipping. So they have fast shipping so the contractors can get their supplies quickly and complete their projects on time. They have a wide variety of stock so they can find everything they need without having to go from shop to shop. And they have high quality and tested supplies so they know, so the contractors know that they're buying quality, etc. Basically selling the trust, reliability, and convenience of the brand. So now that you have that whole thing, you have to go and find that the unique selling points, as I said, and how it ties back into the audience. So in this brand, I'm selling more trust, reliability, and convenience of the brand. I'm selling the brand itself, whereas with other brands, it's more product focus. Like for a different brand that I write for, there's a small electric hand saw that the brand sells. Like it's a tiny chainsaw, basically. On that, I don't sell the brand itself so much, although I do, but I'm more focused on the product. So for example, the chainsaw weighs only 3 pounds, so it's super easy to use and handle, preventing strain on like whoever. It's mostly geared towards older people, so it's easy for them to use and it doesn't hurt their body when they use it. It uses a battery, so you won't have to buy and mix. So you don't have to deal with buy and mix stinky gasoline. It's quieter than a normal chainsaw, so you can use it early mornings without waking anyone up. So basically, in this case, selling the convenience of the product. The point is, know what you're selling and who you want to sell it to. Understand why they won't want to buy it from you. So yeah, once you have that out of the way, step number 2 is planning the actual email. So this isn't something I do so much anymore. I just kind of keep it in mind, but I used to do it a lot when I first started and it helps. So I'm going to share it with you. There are 3 things you need before you actually start writing the email, which is the argument, the wrapper, and then the last one is Rev C1, which I'll get into in a second. So first, the sales argument. What is the main sales argument that your email is going to be making? Like just a broad idea. For example, shop with us because we'll make your supplies arrive on time and it will be high quality. Buy this electric saw because it's more convenient than the chainsaw you're using. Buy this home sauna to improve your sleep because sleep is important for high performance athletes. Think about the unique selling points and what the audience wants so you have some direction. So this is just so you have a broad idea of where you're going with the email. So this is where your research and understanding of the product and brand comes into play. Then the second thing is the wrapper. This is basically the entertaining big idea, a way to deliver the sales argument without raising the sales guard. Wrappers are kind of like the way you would give a dog a pill. You won't just eat the pill straight up, but if you want to wrap it in ham or some shit, he'll eat that with the pill. In this case, the dog is the reader, much love to the reader, and the pill is the sales argument and the wrapper is the ham. Depending on the brand, this will change. Some brands can get more creative with the wrappers, while others can be more to the point and straight up. You'll just have to see what works. So for example, you can tell a story about how a contractor's whole project fell flat because his supplier duped him, and angle it as like, avoid this $10,000 contracting mistake. You can also say transform your yard with one click, which is the chainsaw because it's so convenient, and what this Olympic athlete does 8 months before his race to get a competitive advantage. Basically, you're just looking for a way to grab attention, open and deliver the sales argument without being super upfront about it. Most of the times they can probably assume you'll be selling them something anyway, but if the email is good, they'll still keep reading and being sold up and end up being sold and buying the product either way. So you make the idea so big and entertaining that they can't help but read it, and while they're reading, they're getting sold and they don't even realize it that much. It's basically, as I say, just a way to deliver the sales argument. So then Rev C1. So this is basically a small checklist for emails. It stands for relevant, entertaining, valuable, clear, and one thing. Is your email relevant to the reader? Is it entertaining? Is it valuable? Is it clear? And are you sticking to the main idea? Don't send, basically the opposite of this is don't send irrelevant, boring emails that have no value and it's hard to understand, and it tries to make multiple sales arguments at once. This is highly subjective to the audience. Relevance. So yeah, this is highly So relevance, talking about something in their world, something they know or is close to them. Entertaining, was it fun to read? Did you give them a giggle? Maybe, again, depends on the audience, and there are many ways to build this. Was it valuable? Did they feel like they got something out of reading the email, a piece of advice, more information on something they're interested in, etc.? And is it clear? When they see and read it, do they understand what it means? Would they be able to look at it and not wonder what you're trying to say? So for example, I wrote an email a while ago that was basically like, we're your golden ticket to completing your contracting jobs faster. And with this golden ticket, you'll be able to get the lowest prices from our shop. But it was kind of unclear because some people were unsure of is there actually a golden ticket, where it was just like figuratively speaking. But in that case, it can cause confusion and be unclear, and confused buyers don't buy. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then, did you stick to the main sales argument and the wrapper? Don't tell different stories going from one thing to something else completely random. Don't try to make multiple sales arguments at once. But make sure as much as you can that your email and wrapper falls into the Rev C1 boxes. So basically, you stick to one idea. Then number 3 comes the writing. With your sales argument, wrapper, and Rev C1 in mind, you can start writing. Here's the way to do that. It's just write. Now, I know that seems like pretty basic advice, but the only way you're going to get good at writing emails is by writing them. And I'm going to go more into how you can actually know if your email is good in a second. So just write and don't hold back. Write whatever you think is best, like a brain dump. We'll come back later to edit it. So there's a saying in copywriting where you write drunk and edit sober. And when you write drunk, just write and don't hold back. Just brain dump and get everything out, because you'll be editing it later. So here are some writing tips. Don't use abnormally large words, and 2, length doesn't matter that much as long as it's not retardedly long, like 1,000 words or something. But we've seen emails do well that were like 700 to 800 words. There's not much to writing besides writing. You can follow copywriting formulas if you want, like DIC, HSO, PAS, and ADA. If you guys don't know what that is, you can go Google it. There's probably a ton of YouTube videos on it. It will help you get some direction if you've never written an email before. But after a while, you'll be able to write emails off the bat without thinking much in terms of how the email is structured. It'll just automatically write it in the right structure. One thing I can say is try to answer, why should I be reading this, as soon as possible. It's the R in relevance. You don't have to answer it outright, like here's why I'm sending you this email, but kind of answer what it's about early on, so they don't ask why am I reading this after like 3 or 4 lines of a random ass story that's not in their world at all. So make sure it's relevant. It's very important that it's relevant. Also talk to one person. Don't say you guys that are receiving this email, just say you. You speak in a singularity to one person. So keep that in mind. And as I said, stick. So now that you have a sort of a rough draft and email that you can go into editing. So after writing, take a small break, 15 minutes, an hour, it doesn't matter. Take a break, come back to the email and read it aloud. Look for places or sentences that can be smoother. Look for big words you can make shorter, or look for words or sentences that you can remove completely. Basically, look for redundance and fluff that you can just remove out of the email. When reading, look out for places you can Look out for places you stop or stumble over words, look for redundancy, or look for words or sentences that are just fluff that don't actually say anything, and remove or change it. Make sure the sales argument you gave makes logical sense, how it flows from one part to the next. Then make sure your grammar and spelling is correct. So that you have full stops, commas, etc. when needed. You can use ChatGPT for this. Like, my English isn't my first language, so when I'm done writing an email, I just put it into ChatGPT and I ask it to look out for spelling, grammar, and language mistakes and point it out for me so I can fix it. Tell me why he fixed it, or how to fix it, and why he fixed it, so I can learn in the process. So here are a few examples of what good emails look like, so you guys can have a small little taste. So this is actually a pretty fun one. This is one of my favorite emails. It's, do you recognize this man? And as you can see, here are some of its stats. It was sent to a list of 7,000 people, and it generated just over $12,000, which is pretty crazy. So let us open this up real quick. So here it is, subject line, do you recognize this man? Him and his team have been causing chaos. So for context, this is to the contracting niche that I spoke about earlier. So like electricians, etc. So it goes like this. Do you recognize this man? And then it's a picture of Bob the Builder. His name is Bob and he's a builder, a pretty famous one actually. You might have seen some kids glued to their TV watching his show, Bob the Builder. See, Bob and his team have this amazing ability to construct entire cities before kids even finish their cereal. His secret? He has some kind of magic inventory. For example, Bob always has the perfect light, whether it's a teeny tiny bulb or a chandelier that could light up a Buckingham Palace. He's never hunting for a replacement bulb in the middle of a project, or never missing the exact fixture to complete a design. So this is kind of like teasing a little bit of desire. Like in a perfect world, that's what the contractor would want as well. So, and continues, he never runs out of supplies. He always has everything he needs to jump headfirst into a project with absolute confidence and not a day's delay. This is a key factor in what has enabled him to build a superstar contracting business in the fictional town of Bobsville, where he gets 100% of the projects all the time. And I believe we can learn something from him. So here was building a little bit of desire. It's entertaining. It's pretty relevant, but I think the biggest reason this email did so good is because it's so, I wouldn't say random, it is kind of random, but this stands out in the inbox, especially to these contractors who are professionals and a bit older in age. No one was going to send them an email of Bob the Builder, so it really stood out, but it was still relevant, right? And it's entertaining and it's valuable. So the key, so let's continue. We can learn something from him. I mean, imagine you had that kind of magical inventory. Wouldn't that completely change the way you do business? Never having to delay projects to find the right supplies, never having to find cheap alternatives, never saying no to a client because you can't find the specific light they're looking for, or never spending a boatload of cash to get premium supplies, and never getting callbacks because the fixture you installed broke due to low quality. So this is all things they don't want, right? Imagine having all the high quality supplies you could ever need at the snap of your fingers. That's the exact reason why we started the company's name close to 40 years ago. We're your one-stop shop for all the lighting supplies you could ever need at the best possible prices. Dive into your own magical inventory with us. And then it's a sign-off and just a small PS. So this is a very simple email, as you can see, and it made almost $13,000 at the end of the day, which is crazy. And it follows the relevant, entertaining, and value. It gives them value by giving them what they want in a way. You know what I mean? They don't want to deal with all these things, but they want this desire. And we can give that to them. And it's pretty clear, it's a simple story, and it sticks to one idea as well, the Bob the Builder idea. So it was a good email, it got good results. So let's move on to the next one. So here is Gardener's Transformation, and this is kind of one of my favorite types of emails, is a transformation story. It usually does very well. So it starts like this. I don't know where the subject line and preview text went, but it's gone. Wait, let me show you as well. This did $1,700 in sales, so it's not that much, but it still worked. So someone recently shared this inspiring story with me on Facebook, so this whole email checks all the boxes as well. My name is Gloria, I'm 62 years old and live in Los Angeles, California, and I love gardening. So that's super relevant to the audience. They will probably be like, hey, that's me. Walking around my sun-kissed garden, feeling the warmth of the California sun on my face, listening to the birds chirping and seeing the little plant sprouts brings immense joy to my life. Recently, though, it's become harder and harder for me to do that, to take care of my garden, keep it clean, and hold on to that sense of joy. And the reason is pretty embarrassing for me to admit. See, it's become very hard for me to use my pruners for long periods of time. It used to be easy, but now squeezing down on pruners feels like I'm trying to crush a rock with my bare hands. At first, it only happened after long gardening sessions, but now I can barely prune a simple bush without it hurting me. It's a pretty defeating feeling, not being able to even trim a bush. That feeling led to me led to me to look for ways I can get back out there, get back to working my garden in a way that doesn't hurt me. But how do you do that? Well, I spent hours scouring stores and websites for that exact reason, but nothing seemed to be worth trying. Until my daughter surprised me with a pair of, and then it's the product name and from the store. So just some context, it's like an electric pruner that you just give it like slight squeeze and it prunes for you instead of having to struggle. It's for an older audience, right? It makes sense. It's like a normal pruner, but with an electric motor. You should just pull on a trigger and it cuts for you. Now, I'm not a huge fan of things like this. I prefer using normal pruners, but I didn't really have a choice. I could barely snip through a thin stick on my own. So I reluctantly gave it a try, and after some getting used to it, it started growing on me. Now I'm using it almost every single day, and it doesn't put any shred on my hands. It's great. I just give the product name, a light squeeze, and it does the job for me. The motor jumps into action with a soft hum, and with a crisp snip, it effortlessly cuts through stems. The clean scent of freshly trimmed plants is something I've truly missed. I love it. If you want to grab your own pair of product name, just click here and then the sign off. So this is basically a transformation story. So at the start, she was struggling to garden, and at the end, it was easy for her again. And this is relevant because most likely the people who bought this were in the same position as she was. They were struggling, it was hurting, right? And they found a solution. It's entertaining because it's a story format, and also all these words that I use hitting on the five senses, like the feeling of warmth, listening to the birds chirping and seeing the little plant sprout is all parts of storytelling. It is also valuable because it solves a problem for them, like it gives them the solution to a problem they might have been dealing with themselves. And it is clear, it's a pretty basic story, and it's one idea, right? It's just a story. So that is that email. And then we have another one. Actually, I'm not going to go through all of these because it's so much and it's going to take so much time. So let me just go with this one. This is a different kind of story. The first one was kind of very creative. The second one was just a story. This one was also crazy creative, and this one is also a story. So I'm going to go with this one, which is more a logical kind of story. Not kind of story, email. So this was sent to 1,722 people, and it made $13.6 thousand, which is crazy. So yeah, let us check this one out. So this is basically to a sauna outlet, or the audience of a sauna outlet. So people who are interested in buying saunas. This is one of my first emails that I ever wrote, so bear with me on this one. It might not be the greatest. So it starts. I get it. You're looking for a sauna to spice up your wellness routine, but the age-old indoor versus outdoor debate has you tangled. So basically, what I realized when writing for this brand is that a lot of people aren't sure should they get like an outdoor sauna that they put on the outside of the house, or an indoor sauna that they put on the inside. It was kind of like just something they thought about, so I just kind of sold it for them. I get it. You're looking for a sauna to spice up your wellness routine, but the age-old indoor versus outdoor debate has you tangled. Should you get a sauna on the inside of your home, on the outside? This is the exact debate most enthusiasts go through when buying their first sauna. And after selling over 2,000 plus saunas, we've seen this unfold dozens of times. Here's what we learned. Indoor saunas can be amazing. However, there is one simple issue. Many indoor sauna projects tend to be quick fixes, like a sauna kit in a corner, a cramped up setup under the stairs, or even worse, a stumbling DIY project that costs thousands of dollars but is littered with issues. This isn't the recipe for success. A great indoor sauna requires detailed planning, professional know-how, and a good budget. And if done right, an indoor sauna can just be as satisfying as an outdoor one. On the flip side, outdoor saunas have their own charm. They offer a more traditional experience with added benefit of being detached from your main living space. Properly built outdoor saunas can provide a retreat-like feel, making your sauna time more special. But here's why both can be great. The key is quality, not location. Whether indoor or outdoor, a premium quality sauna can greatly enhance your health and wellness routine. So if you think about getting your first sauna, you're on luck. At company name, we pride ourselves in quality, and our customer reviews reflect exactly that. You can discover a huge range of premium indoor and outdoor saunas on our website at the best prices. Just click here to browse them. Sign off. Very, very simple email, but it made like $13,000, right? It's relevant. They might be dealing with this problem as well. It's not, I wouldn't say it's that entertaining, to be honest. Some words like spice up, has you tangled, I guess a little bit, but it could definitely improve in that sense. It is valuable because it's solving a problem for them. It is clear indoor versus outdoor, and it sticks to one idea, the indoor versus outdoor debate. So yeah, those are three email examples you guys can potentially learn from or just get inspiration from. So yeah, let's get into how to actually get good at writing copy. And this is a very basic list, but it's basic for a reason, and it's because it's because it works. So the first thing is I learned how to learn. This is how I got good at copy, is learn how to learn. So learn, study, teach. So you learn by, you know, reading books, getting feedback from other copywriters, etc. And then you study by actually writing. And then you teach by reviewing other people's emails and seeing how you can improve your own. And that's how you become good at copywriting. So basically consume and create every day. Every day consume some sort of copywriting training or books, etc. And then also create every day. Write one piece of copy every day. It doesn't matter what it is, just write something. And as soon as you learn something that's actually like, oh, that's very helpful, apply it immediately so it sticks in your brain. And yeah, read good copy, because reading good copy aloud, well, it doesn't have to be aloud, but just reading good copy in general makes you see what good copy actually looks like, so you can go apply that for yourself. And then lastly, obviously, write copy, give feedback, and know that you will suck at first. Like if you've never written copy in your life and you start writing copy, you will most likely suck at first. But we all did, and you get better with time. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's basically the video. I hope you guys got some sort of value out of it. Well, you should have, because it's actually very valuable. And yeah, as I said, this is just a small introduction on how to write emails. There's a whole lot that goes into it, but this is a good starting point. If you guys did like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell all your copywriting friends about it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.